Hi everybody, welcome to this quick presentation on 5 quick ways to reduce stress and become calmer. I'll just give you a brief introduction about who I am. This is me. This was taken a few years ago, so I've got a lot of grey hair and all. These are 4 of my 7 kids. They're pretty much all grown up now, but I've had the stresses of dealing with 7 teenagers over a number of years, and this was also my second marriage, so we've got 2 children of my own that I looked after as a single parent. My wife had 4 children that she was looking after as a single parent, and then we had the youngest one, Willow, together. So I've been a chiropractor and a life coach for over 20 years now, and I spend a lot of time helping people with stress and depression and burnout. And these are things that I've experienced in my own life as well. I've spent a lot of time researching human psychology and working out how to help myself and how to help my clients. So this is part of the system that I use to help people. So what we've got here is a roadmap of the Zest for Life program that I use to help my clients with stress, anxiety, burnout, and depression. So the first thing we need to do is to calm the system down, because if you're in fight or flight mode, if you're stressed out, you're in panic mode, you're not in a position to be able to accept any of the advice or changes that you need to accept. So once the system is calmed down, then we can work through the rest of the program, identify people's missing human needs, plan to meet those needs, set the appropriate goals. I help people to rehearse their success, so in their mind they've already achieved success, which makes success inevitable. We get people to regain control of their lives, and then we work on people's nutrition and exercise, because those are all important parts of battling burnout and depression. So what we've got here is the cycle of depression, which was developed by, amongst other people, Uncommon Knowledge. So thank you to them for this slide. So what tends to happen is a stress happens and you get emotionally arousing rumination, i.e. you're thinking too much, you're overthinking things, your brain is constantly churning around. And because of this, you tend to overdream. So you're in rapid eye movement sleep, you're not getting the restful sleep, and you wake up tired and exhausted every morning, even though you might have had the full 8 hours sleep. You're tired, your motivation is impaired, you have fewer pleasant experiences, so your endorphin levels are down all the time. Endorphins are the pleasure hormones. And because you're stressed all the time, you're overproducing cortisol, so your fight or flight system is switched on all the time and your cortisol levels are high. And your basic needs are impaired, your relationships, etc. And people get stuck in depressive thinking styles. So as I say, the first thing we need to do is to calm your system down, because when you're in this fight or flight mode, it's difficult to think clearly and it drains your energy. So we need to calm your system down so it accepts the changes that we need to make. So why do you need calm? Well, first of all, it feels nice to feel calm. People like to feel relaxed and so on. But more importantly, from our purposes today, when you're not calm, you're in fight or flight mode, and your brain retreats into survival mode and your higher level thinking is closed down. So it's very difficult for you to make the changes that you need to make. You aren't thinking straight. Everything is overwhelming. Everything's too much. You can't make decisions and you can't take the sensible actions you need to take. You might well know what you need to do, but you feel unable to do it. And you get into the stress habit of thinking. So it's like you are stuck walking down the bottom of a deep trench and the sides are closing in and you can't get out of it. So it's depressing being down in the bottom of a muddy trench, but on the other hand, being in the trench can feel safe and normal. The bottom of your trench is your comfort zone. At least you know what's happening down there. And people get stuck in their comfort zone at the bottom of the trench. And sometimes the harder you try to get out, the deeper the trench gets. So how can you get out of the trench? First of all, you need to recognize you are in a trench, and you need to break your thinking habits, change the way you think, and shock yourself out of the trench. So you can imagine if you were stuck in a particular way of thinking and some traumatic life event happened, it would break you out of it. And we don't want this traumatic life event to happen. We want to find easier ways to break yourself out of the trench. And the basic way we can approach this, the physiological rationale behind all of these exercises, is that we want to decrease cortisol, which are the stress hormones, and we want to increase your endorphins, which are the pleasure hormones. So the first way to do this is to take a cold shower. Now, this sounds like an unpleasant thing to do, but there's huge amounts of evidence over the last 50 or 60 years that if you have regular cold showers, or if you're exposed to cold regularly, first of all, your body adapts to stresses generally. So it trains the body to get used to deal with stress. And it also lowers your blood pressure, increases your endorphins, and reduces cortisol. So if you've ever had a swim in the sea or in a lake, you know how refreshing this is and how great you feel afterwards. And an easy way to simulate this is to turn the temperature down on your shower and have 30 seconds or more in a cold shower every morning. Just try it and you'll see what I mean. The next one is to scream. I don't recommend you do this in public because you might get locked up, because this sort of behavior is not accepted in our culture, which is a shame. In other cultures where people respond to grief, for example, by going completely mad, screaming, shouting, depression is almost unheard of. But in our culture, it's not considered acceptable, unfortunately. Over the last 50 years or so, primal scream therapy has been shown to reduce anger and frustration and be very effective in depression. Screaming releases tension in the body. You shout it all out, you get it off your chest, and screaming burns off the fight or flight hormones, and afterwards you feel a lot calmer. Number 3 is dance like an idiot, and you can take it from me that I'm an expert in dancing like an idiot, even in public. So I always feel great after doing this. Maybe don't do it in public to start with, but try it in the privacy of your own home and see how you feel. So the secret is to put on high tempo music, really loud, blast it all out, and give yourself permission to let yourself go. Just go crazy. Apply this medication for 5 minutes once a day and see how you feel. Now, all of these can be combined together. So, for example, you could play your loud music, scream, dance like a lunatic, or you can do this, or you can put your music on really loud on your headphones, for example, and use it when you're doing high intensity exercise. So the idea of this is 30 seconds of full out, working as hard as you can. So you can do it by running on the spot, you can pedal your stationary bike, you can skip rope, or you can jump. But the secret is to do it for 30 seconds of full intensity. Obviously, make sure you do a warm-up before this, and if you have a heart condition, take some advice before you do this. But for most people, the buzz that you get after this exercise is showing that you have reduced your cortisol levels and you have increased your endorphins. And number 5 is to break your routine. So you're bored, you're stuck in the bottom of your trench, you need to start thinking differently. And easy way to do this is just to put yourself in different situations. So take a different route to work, for example. Just do something different. If you turn off your phone, TV or laptop and read a good novel, that'll take you out of yourself. Or if you do a lot of reading, play a game. Or if you never go for walks, go for a walk. If it's something you've always wanted to do, just do it. You also have to get in the habit of treating yourself. Remember that you are worthy of these treats. You're an important person. You deserve to have moments of happiness and calmness. So by giving yourself little treats, you remind yourself of that fact. An important one as well is to perform acts of random kindness. So as humans, we work well together. We get a great buzz of endorphins or pleasure hormones when we've done something nice for somebody else. And just seeing the smile on somebody else's face makes you feel much better about yourself. So try and think of something to do every day that is an act of random kindness. Don't do it in expectation of a reward, just do it. So I'm inviting you to step out of your trench and take a look around. If you want to, just stick your head up above the side of the trench and have a look around, see what's going on. But better to come out of your trench altogether, have some play, have some fun, and realize that as you were when you were a child, the world is exciting and full of adventures and great fun. And you need to get back to the way you were before you got stuck into your trench and got into the habit of having a boring and depressing life. So it's time to come out and play. Now I realize that it is very difficult for people to come out of their comfort zone. Sometimes they need help, sometimes they need permission to shout and scream and dance like a lunatic. So many of my clients need a hand with these sorts of things. So if you need a hand from me or you need to talk to somebody, just email me at peter@peterdbennett.com, or if you go to the website, which is www.peterdbennett.com, you can fill out a contact form there, or you can get more information about me, or you can schedule a free Get Unstuck call and we can work through this with you. So I hope you've enjoyed this brief presentation and I hope you find it really helpful. So good luck and enjoy breaking out of your trench.